stands out for me and the one that I'm very interested in showcasing is the one I was discovered because of, which is Love Yourself. The reason
Mm-hmm.
why I got this was because of the HIV awareness and really understanding how I can help the community however I can. I've been in a couple of plays that have focused on that, including Angels in America with the late great Sherry Hill. And
Mm-hmm.
also now I'm doing Rent, the musical, which focuses on 1980s and how the HIV and AIDS epidemic started over there, and everyone thought they were going to die, but now you can live a long life. But it's important to get tested, and it's also important to stay protected. Use protection, use a condom, or now there's a thing called PrEP. It's a pill that you can take every
Mm-hmm.
day or two hours before activity, one the day after and the day after, and it's a super small chance of contracting HIV. And they're also developing other things. I actually did something very recently over the weekend with Love Yourself. I was I'm the person who is actually going to be speaking about this thing called mochi, but we can't really talk about it further too much. But it's the first ever Philippine study that will handle uh, Filipinos trying different trials for possible
Mm-hmm.
drugs to help find out if
Oh,
we can end HIV. So it's very exciting. They have this test in other parts of the world. I can't really talk too much about it because they're going to launch it in a couple of months. But I was working with a doctor and a scientist. And I'm going to be the person who's going to deliver the message to the individuals who will partake in our first Philippine scientific study on HIV. So I'm quite
wow.
excited for that.
Wow.
So usually females are the ones who speak openly about uh, beauty
Yes.
queens are the ones who speak openly about HIV and AIDS advocacies. But I feel like it's my prerogative, having played Joe Pitt in Angels in America and going to
Mm-hmm.
be playing Tom Collins and yeah, Benny in Rent, the musical here in
Mm-hmm.
the Philippines, that I need to, walk the walk and talk the talk and really spread the good word that because there's no sex education in the Philippines, we need to find a way to impart this information however we can to anyone who wants to partake in any sort of sexual activity. And for
Yeah.
me, it's okay. Have fun,
Yeah.
but just protect yourself. So that's what
Yeah.
I also do on the radio on a regular basis. I try my best, even if it's not national radio, to be able to like inform people because in these schools that they go to, uh, they don't have sex education.
Yeah.
So essentially, the morning rush has turned into a place where we can educate
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make
This
jokes at the same time.
okay. This you're very passionate about it. And of course, this is
Yeah,
not something advocacy that you just created for the pageant. It seems like you're also very knowledgeable about it for already a long time. But
yeah.
aside from the roles that you're doing for theater shows, um, how did this passion about HIV awareness start for you?
HIV awareness has been one of those things that I have actually learned about back in high school when I fell in love with Rent the Musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
didn't know what HIV was. But I was so passionate about learning all of these songs and wanting to play two specific roles, Benny and Collins, which I'm playing now, dream come
Mm-hmm.
true. But because of that, I started to learn a little bit more about it. Then I moved to Switzerland, where
Mm-hmm.
everything became more open, and where in my
Mm-hmm.
school and all of my friends, not just in the LGBT community, but the heterosexual community. There are some who use recreational drugs that aren't my friends, but like I know of, that contracted HIV and AIDS without knowing that they did because they were sharing needles. So it's
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of different reasons why I don't like the fact that it's a stigma only to the LGBT community, because it has spread towards the entire population, and it is a global pandemic that, like cancer and like any other form of medical concern, needs to be addressed
Yeah.
and needs to be brought about. So
Mhm.
I can say that my advocacy for this has started ever since I was 17 or 18 in high school here in the Philippines. And then moving to Switzerland and learning about how open it was to get yourself tested all the time,
Mhm.
regardless of who you are, sexual preference, your where you're from, what you do in life, your age. You have to get regularly tested. And I just feel like, me personally, I remember over there, like, part of your APE or whatever in school, every one of us needed to
Mhm.
get tested for that.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
everyone in my
Wow. Okay.
university. Here in the Philippines, you go to the clinic and then you're like, I want to get an HIV test. And they go, oh, let's
Mhm.
not talk about that. Like, you have to go here and
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
and everything is so hidden. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that I have it. I'm saying that I want to get tested so that I know my status, because it is important.
Mm.
And I feel that it is
Yeah.
important for everyone to know what their status is. And a lot of people are scared. And better to find out now than years later and have all sorts of different things happening to your body and you don't know why it's happening to your body, and then you deteriorate and die. I'm sorry for this, but
Yeah.
it happens. And it's because people are too scared to get themselves tested and they don't want the world to judge them. So they'd
Yeah.
rather not be judged than get tested
Then protect themselves. Yeah.
and protect
Um.
themselves.
Yeah. So, uh, let's pretend I'm just really hoping that that question will be given to you because it seems like you're going to ace it. It's going to be easy for you, and you can talk about it all day and passionately about it. You know,
But
the
yeah,
answers come
but
from the heart. Yeah.
that's not just my advocacy. I have a couple of other ones, including mental health
Mm-hmm.
advocacies, which I also
Mm-hmm.
started during the pandemic. I had my own little mental health advocacy where I spoke about my ADHD. I spoke about
Mm-hmm.
my anxiety, certain forms of my depression that I have to deal with on a regular basis. And that it's okay not to be okay. And I worked with the Psychiatric Association of the Philippines. And
Wow. Okay.
when I delve into my mental health advocacy, it's very important to speak about it because of uh, the rising suicide cases all
Yeah.
over the world. And I know this is a trigger warning. I'm sorry, trigger warning. But yes, it's another pandemic that needs to be addressed, which
Yeah.
I also have worked with a few different organizations to try to help address.
Yeah. Going back to your first advocacy, but mental health is also really a good advocacy. But going back to like, HIV awareness, pretending that this is going to be the question that will be given to you, how will you talk to like a 19-year-old teenager who just discovered that he is HIV positive? What will be your message to him or her?
I would just like to impart to you, whoever it is that I'm speaking to, that we are now in 2024 and we are in a time where you can live a very comfortable and loving life, even if you have HIV. As long as you contain it, there are pills now that you can take. I think now it's narrowed down to either a couple or a single pill that you have to take on a regular basis. And it reaches the point where you become undetectable, meaning it's like you don't have it in your system. So you can live a long and happy life as long as, you keep taking your medication and you just learn to have conversations with the individuals that you meet and let them know. You don't have to tell them fully about your status, but at least protect yourself and protect them. Uh, and try your best to be a positive member in this community, meaning not just the LGBT community, not just your school community or your whatever community you live in, but to just be a great human being and live the best possible life you can.
That's maybe interrupted because 30 minutes lang siya. I'll give you another link in a bit. But, leaving the advocacy part and going into the competition itself, have you already checked the other contestants and who do you think is your greatest competition?
I scrolled. I haven't actually looked. I'm not really one that focuses on competition. Um, Meaning I think each of us are unique and we just have to showcase who we are, and if they like us. And it's a very subjective competition in terms of how you're presented. I mean, you can't please everyone. So if they don't like you, they don't like
Mm-hmm.
you. If they like you, they like you. It's all about luck of the draw, and it's all about how you present yourself. So all I can worry about is myself and how I carry myself and how I'm able to be the best possible candidate to represent the Philippines that I can be. And I will wish everyone the best of luck in their competition as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is not a